The Arvada Center is getting ready to kick off its season with Into the Woods. So joining me now are Shannon Steele, who plays the baker's wife, and Rudy Martinez, who plays the baker. So Rudy, this is your first Arvada Center production. How's it going?
It is my first Arvada production. Everything is great so far. You know, it's only been a couple of days. We had our first day of rehearsal yesterday, which was a lot of information about what the show is going to be about, what we're trying to achieve as a cast, as a creative team, as a theater. We got all of the production details about what the set will be, what our costumes will look like, and the focus of the show. So everything's fantastic so far. Really excited to start.
Great. That is awesome to hear. Shannon, tell us a little bit about Into the Woods and what it's all about.
Well, there's a lot to unpack with this show. It's beautiful. It's written by Sondheim, so there's so much there that is just the best of the best. I think Into the Woods is a beautiful metaphor for life. It's about what happens after happily ever after. It's about what happens when you indulge in selfish wants and wishes, and the consequences and the benefits of that, and then how that can transpire into a more communal perspective and approach to life, and the necessity of coming together as a group for survival and to actually achieve a happy life.
That's awesome. It sounds great. Like there's definitely a lot to it. Tell us too, the staging of this production is a little bit different. So tell us about that and what you guys are doing.
Our director explained yesterday that her vision for the show is as if it's through the eyes of a child, and all of these stories are coming together from this child's perspective of imagination, which gives us a lot of creative play and room to see what that might be, and we're creating it along the way.
What she said.
I like that. That's a neat perspective, way to do a show too. So the baker and his wife really tie the whole story together. What do you think is the key to both of your roles?
I'll take it first. Okay. Well, we were just talking about this before we joined you. I think for his particular story, it's to stay the course. In the first act, he's given a task to obtain these items so that he and his wife can have a child. And so he's put on this course, and he pretty much follows it. There's, some things that happen along the way that throw them off, but eventually they get to that, and they have the child. In the second act, this course is not laid out so clearly. A lot of things happen in the second act, life situations that many of us have all encountered or will encounter in our lives. And, he gets a little off course, but by the end of it, I don't want to give too much away, but by the end of it, his task again is to raise that child, to make sure that that child is safe and taken care of and loved.
That's great. What about you, Shannon? What about your role?
Well, I think the baker's wife is, she's very independent, and she's very brave, and she takes risks. She's willing to take risks in her life. And I think there's that notion that Into the Woods is that space in your mind, potentially, metaphorically, of when things get tangled, when things get messy, when things get confusing and not clear. And she's brave about going into those woods, and she's willing to risk things and to help guide her husband along and push him a little bit. And, things get difficult when you willingly step into that kind of space as well. And she learns a lot about herself, what she's capable of, and areas of her life where maybe she had some missings, and wanted to step into those things. I think both the baker and the baker's wife are beautiful examples of just humanity at its most vulnerable, and the strength that can be found in trusting each other and working together.
Absolutely. That kind of leads me to my next question. Since it is something that seems to be, so relatable to people, what do you both hope that the audiences get out of this production?
Well, I hope the audience, I think with any production, I hope an audience walks away with permission in some artistic, emotional, spiritual way to explore their own woods, if you will. there's something beautiful about live theater that that gives you that live, in-person example of a story that might challenge you to think differently, that might open your heart and your world a little bit more with more compassion for yourself and for others. And I think Into the Woods is such a perfect, stunningly written example of that brave quest of finding yourself and your community and your commitment to both.
Absolutely. Anything to add, Rudy, or are you?
Well, I agree with everything she said, but I think, my wish, if we're talking about that, we have a lot of wishes in this show, is that the audience is able to see just one of the themes of the show, which is community, and which is coming together for the greater good, the greater cause. And I think, throughout the centuries, we have had situations where that has happened, where we have come together for the greater good, and there have been times when we haven't. And I think we're kind of in a crazy time right now where we're going to find that out very soon. But the one thing I wish that they take out of this is hope. And at the end of the show, that really is, life happens. Whether you're in the woods, whether you're in your house, it happens. And the one thing that I think these characters at the very end hold on to is that hope that, the next generation is going to make better choices or just different choices. So, yeah, I hope they leave the theater with some hope.
That was beautifully put by both of you guys. And thanks so much for sharing all this. We're really excited for this production, so we appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And Into the Woods plays September 9th through October 9th at the Arvada Center. We have a link to get tickets at cbscolorado.com.